So the process is just make a simple sample, process this, and add some hair candy and more effects. Make sure that you stay along the video to understand the micro detail that make the difference. So the first part is relatively simple. It's just a simple sample. So the super important thing in this first part is the sound selection. Make sure you have the perfect sound selection and think about, okay, if I process this sound, it's gonna sound like this, you know? So it's why I just use a super high quality sound selection. The first sound that I use is for the chords, is from my one-shot kit in my toolkit. Just a simple chord progression and add some notes here and there to transition with the other chord progression. So the cool thing about this sound is a little panoramic. Just add this little variation and movement in the sample. For add some more movement and texturing in the sample, I add this super cool accent from my accent kit in my toolkit. And in the context, it's just super powerful because it adds this little detail that make the difference. And after this, I add two melody. The first one sounds like this. So the sound that I use, it's back from Analog Lab Bank in my toolkit. Super powerful sound, you know. So the cool thing about this part is just search about the unique sound that you can put, you know. It's like a little texture. This sound is already a little texture in the background, but after this, with the process, it just made a crazy thing in the background that we need to have for a unique sound. And finally, I add this little lead. The sound I use, it's Slow Night from Analog Lab Bank in my toolkit. So, you know, these two sounds come play together and it's like just a little texture in the background, and it just helps so much the process after for the second part. And the second part is the process. So what I do is just record the sample that we add and add some effects, you know, flanger, chorus, and EQ just cut the low end. After this crazy free plugin and this free plugin too, and I add an autopan. So it's super important to add some more life in your sample. Technically, like an autopan, chorus, flanger, some FX can add some movement. And after this, I add this sub bass, and after this, a simple lead. It's from my one-shot kit in my toolkit. And the interesting part for this lead is not the reverb that I put on this lead, it's not the chorus that I put on this lead, is the fragments part. So this plugin is just super fire. It just makes your sound in the next level. It's super crazy. Just use this all the time when I make this type of sample. And we have this second sample. You know, you heard the difference between this part and this part. And after this, I just record this part and I put like this, and I just duplicate the first part, you know, it's the first part of the sample, like this. So the first part, I just duplicate, and after this, I just add another section like this, and add this repetition. And you know, I just pitch this 10 more semitone to have this crazy high effects, and I add this flanger. Super cool to add this movement in the sample. And for more interesting part, I just add this vocal. In the right moment is just make the difference to add, you know, this vibration and this harmonics, and I add a free verb and cut the low end and the high end. And the sample is done. So, you know, it's a super easy, simple process, but the first thing is just make sure you have a great sound selection. The second part, just process and be creative with the effects. And the final part, just chop a little bit your sample, pitch up if you want, pitch down if you want, and add some vocals or melody here and there to add this movement and more interesting part for the sample. And it's done. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something. I just enjoyed the video. If you want the same sound that I use, the link it's in the description, and I see you in another video. Peace.